Welcome to Scary Scandals Stories to Sleep To, where the drama is dark, the twists are chilling, and the truth, well, it's buried deep in the shadows. Get cozy, turn off the lights, and let these haunting tales lull you into a restless slumber. Sweet dreams, if you can. Fresh out of high school, Aiden Rivera and Lila Hart were the kind of couple that made the world stop and stare. At least, that's how they saw themselves. To them, nothing else mattered but their love. When they were together, the world felt alive. Music sounded sweeter, lights sparkled brighter, and every day felt like a scene from a movie. But love wasn't enough to escape their reality. Aiden worked long hours at a dead-end job, and Lila spent her days scrolling through Instagram, watching influencers flaunt their glamorous lives. The Ferraris, the designer bags, the vacations in Santorini, it all seemed so unfair. "We deserve that life," Lila said one night, scrolling through the account of Chase and Chelsea Monroe, the most famous influencer couple in LA. Known for their extravagant content, Chase and Chelsea had millions of followers and a massive mansion in Beverly Hills. Aiden agreed. Then let's take it. They'll never even notice it's gone. And so, the Christmas Heist was born. The plan. The Monroes were throwing their annual Christmas Eve party, a glitzy affair with celebrity guests, open champagne bars, and an overflowing display of wealth. It was the perfect opportunity. Aiden and Lila's plan was bold and simple. 1. Sneak in as caterers. Aiden's older cousin worked for a high-end staffing agency, and he borrowed 2 uniforms for them. 2. Blend in. Lila would charm the guests while Aiden scoped out the mansion for valuables. 3. Hit the vault. Every influencer in LA had a hidden safe, and the Monroes would be no exception. 4. Disappear into the night. They'd planned their escape meticulously, with fake passports and a flight to the Caribbean booked under aliases. On Christmas Eve, Aiden and Lila arrived at the Monroes' mansion dressed as caterers, carrying trays of hors d'oeuvres. The mansion was even more stunning in person. Golden lights adorned every surface, and the smell of expensive candles filled the air. "Stay calm," Aiden whispered as they entered the grand hall, blending in with the real staff. The guests were too busy taking selfies and clinking champagne glasses to notice the young couple sneaking down a hallway. Aiden's research paid off. Hidden behind a large abstract painting in the Monroe's home gym, they found the safe. Using a stolen stethoscope, Aiden cracked the code. Inside, they found stacks of cash, diamond-encrusted watches, designer handbags, and rows of gold bars. Lila's eyes widened as she stuffed a Louis Vuitton duffel with as much as she could. This is it, Aiden. We're finally free." But just as they zipped up the bag, they heard voices approaching. They barely made it out of the gym, ducking into a side room as Chase Monroe and his manager walked past, laughing loudly. "Relax," Lila whispered, clutching the duffel. "They don't know we're here." After a tense moment, the hallway cleared, and they slipped back into the party, their hearts pounding. Once outside, Aiden and Lila shed their uniforms, revealing sleek outfits underneath. They hopped into a beat-up sedan, parked down the street, and drove straight to the airport. Their timing was flawless. By the time the Monroes discovered the theft, Aiden and Lila were already in the air, heading to the Cayman Islands. The Monroes' robbery became a viral sensation, plastered across every news outlet and social media platform. Fans speculated wildly, with theories ranging from an inside job to a jealous rival influencer. But Aiden and Lila, they were sipping cocktails on a pristine beach, their duffel of stolen treasures safely hidden in their luxury villa. "Do you think they'll ever catch us?" Lila asked, watching the waves crash against the shore. Aiden smirked, pulling her close. "No one's looking for a couple of kids who vanished on Christmas. Besides, we didn't just steal their stuff, we stole their dream, and now it's ours." The Monroes never recovered the stolen items, and the case remained unsolved. Meanwhile, Aiden and Lila lived the life they'd always dreamed of, moving from one exotic location to another, leaving no trace behind. For them, Christmas wasn't just a season of giving, it was the moment they took everything they ever wanted. Moral of the story: love makes people do crazy things, but a perfect plan can turn dreams into reality if you're bold enough to take the risk. The Stranger in Aspen. The Thompsons were looking forward to a quiet, snowy Christmas in the mountains. With 3 kids in tow and a love for picturesque scenery, Aspen, Colorado seemed like the perfect getaway. They booked a cozy Airbnb tucked into the woods, complete with a roaring fireplace, rustic charm, and breathtaking views of the Rockies. When they arrived, everything seemed perfect. Snow blanketed the ground, the smell of pine lingered in the air, and the small town glowed with festive decorations. The house was just as advertised, warm and inviting, with a huge Christmas tree already set up. But their dream vacation took a chilling turn when they met him. On their first trip into town, the Thompsons stopped at a local diner for lunch. As they ate, a man sitting alone in the corner caught their attention. He was tall and gaunt, his face weathered from years of harsh winters. His clothes were tattered and out of place among the ski jackets and cozy sweaters of the other diners. But it wasn't his appearance that unsettled them, it was the way he stared. His piercing blue eyes followed their every move, lingering far too long on their youngest daughter, Lily. When they left the diner, the man was standing outside, leaning against the wall and smoking a cigarette. He didn't say anything, but his gaze burned into their backs as they walked to their car. Tom, the father, brushed it off. "Small-town folks can be a little odd," he said. But the man wasn't just odd, he was everywhere. Over the next few days, the family couldn't escape him. At the grocery store, he lingered in the parking lot. On a hike through a snowy trail, they spotted him in the distance, standing perfectly still among the trees. When they went to a local Christmas market, he wandered through the crowd, always keeping them in his line of sight. Tom confronted him once. "Can I help you?" he asked firmly. The man just smiled, revealing yellowed teeth. "You're staying in my house?" he said cryptically before walking away. Shaken, Tom dismissed the comment as the ramblings of someone who wasn't quite right in the head, but the man's words stuck with him. On Christmas Eve, the Thompsons decided to spend the day skiing. They left early in the morning, excited for a day of fun on the slopes. When they returned to the cabin that evening, they were greeted by the unmistakable scent of cooking food. Tom unlocked the door cautiously, and the family stepped inside to find the scene straight out of a nightmare. The dining table was set for one, with a steaming plate of steak and potatoes. The fire roared in the hearth, and a half-empty glass of red wine sat beside the plate. The family's belongings had been rummaged through, clothes were strewn about, and their suitcases lay open on the floor. From upstairs, they heard the sound of running water. Tom grabbed a fireplace poker and slowly crept up the stairs, his heart pounding in his chest. The sound led him to the master bathroom, where steam billowed from beneath the door. He threw the door open, and there he was, the man from town. Naked, humming a Christmas carol as he showered, completely unfazed by Tom's presence. "What the hell are you doing?" Tom shouted. The man turned, his expression calm and chilling. "This is my house," he said, his voice eerily even. "You're the intruders." Terrified, the family fled the house, piling into their car and calling the police. They waited at a nearby gas station, shivering in fear as they recounted the events to the 911 operator. When the police arrived at the cabin, the man was gone. But the officers didn't seem surprised by the story. "He's a local," one of them explained. "Used to own that house before he lost it to foreclosure years ago. He's been known to break in during the holidays, claiming it's still his. We've tried to get him help," but the officer trailed off, shrugging helplessly. The Thompsons didn't stay to celebrate Christmas. They packed up their things and drove straight home, leaving the picturesque mountain town behind. But even after returning to their safe suburban life, they couldn't shake the terror of that week. Every Christmas, they hung their stockings and decorated their tree, but the memory lingered, a reminder of how quickly a holiday dream can turn into a nightmare. And sometimes, when the wind howled late at night, Tom swore he could hear faint humming, an off-key version of Silent Night. Christmas Betrayal. Megan and Allison had been inseparable since middle school. From sleepovers to surviving high school drama, they were more than best friends. They were practically sisters. But after graduating, their lives drifted in different directions. Megan stayed in their sleepy Midwest town, while Allison moved to New York to chase her dream of becoming an artist. This Christmas, Megan decided to surprise Allison with a cross-country road trip. She couldn't wait to reconnect with her best friend, imagining cozy nights reminiscing about old times. But when she arrived in Allison's chic Brooklyn apartment, everything felt off. Allison greeted Megan warmly enough, but quickly introduced her to someone unexpected, Emma. Emma was everything Megan wasn't: stylish, confident, and dripping with charisma. It became clear that Emma wasn't just a friend. She was Allison's new best friend. The weekend went downhill fast. Allison constantly compared Megan to Emma, mocking Megan's small-town habits and calling her out of touch. She scoffed at Megan's Christmas gift, a handmade scrapbook of their childhood memories, and instead raved about the designer scarf Emma gave her. Megan felt humiliated, like a relic from Allison's past. The worst moment came during a dinner party when Allison drunkenly said, "I don't even know why Megan came all this way. We've grown so far apart." Everyone laughed, including Emma. That night, Megan cried herself to sleep on Allison's lumpy couch, but the hurt soon turned to anger. If Allison wanted to treat her like a nobody, Megan would remind her just how much damage a nobody could do. While scrolling through Instagram the next day, Megan stumbled upon a picture of Allison's ex-boyfriend, Liam. They had broken up a year ago, but Megan remembered the heartbreak Allison went through, swearing Liam was the love of her life. Megan sent Liam a message, feigning casual friendliness. To her surprise, he replied almost instantly, suggesting they meet up for coffee. Liam was just as charming as Megan remembered. But there was something darker about him now, a bitterness about Allison. Over coffee, Megan played the role of the sympathetic friend, listening to Liam vent about how Allison ruined him. It didn't take long for coffee to turn into drinks, and by the end of the night, Megan found herself in Liam's apartment. The next morning, Megan woke up with a strange sense of satisfaction. She hadn't just hooked up with Liam. She'd planted a seed of chaos. She made sure to leave a few clues behind. A stray earring on his nightstand, a selfie on his phone, and a subtle hint to Liam that he should reconnect with Allison. True to Megan's plan, Liam texted Allison later that day, casually mentioning Megan's name. Allison confronted Megan in front of Emma, her voice trembling with rage. "You slept with Liam? Are you insane?" Allison spat. Megan didn't deny it. Instead, she smiled sweetly. "I thought we'd all moved on, Allison. Or is that only true when you're the one doing the moving on?" Emma, sensing the tension, tried to mediate, but Megan wasn't done. She pulled out her phone and showed everyone a photo of her and Liam, cozy in bed. "Guess I'm not as out of touch as you thought," Megan said, her voice dripping with venom. The confrontation spiraled into chaos. Emma accused Allison of being toxic. Liam started posting cryptic messages on social media about Allison's true colors, and Allison found herself the subject of whispered gossip among her artist friends. For Megan, the revenge was sweet but short-lived. She underestimated how far Allison would go to protect her image. A few days later, Megan started noticing strange things. Her car, parked outside Allison's apartment, had slashed tires. Anonymous messages flooded her phone, calling her a homewrecker and a liar. And then there was the final blow. A video leaked to Megan's small-town community. It was a private moment from the dinner party, edited to make Megan look jealous and unhinged. The video spread quickly, tarnishing Megan's reputation back home. As Christmas came to an end, Megan and Allison's friendship was irreparably broken. But Megan couldn't shake the feeling that Allison's revenge was too calculated, too precise. One night, while scrolling through social media, Megan discovered something chilling. Emma had posted a cryptic caption under a picture of her and Allison. "Some people are best left in the past." Right, Megan? It dawned on Megan that Emma wasn't just a bystander in this drama. She had orchestrated it. From the moment Megan arrived, Emma had been pulling the strings, driving a wedge between the old friends. By the time Megan realized, it was too late. Allison and Emma had moved on, leaving Megan isolated and humiliated. But as Megan packed her bags to head home, she made a vow. This wasn't the end. After all, revenge always feels sweeter the second time around. Marcus Kane had spent 10 long, grueling years behind bars. Convicted of a jewelry store robbery he swore he didn't commit, he had been vilified in the courtroom and branded a thief by a jury of 12 strangers. As the years passed, bitterness consumed him. Every sleepless night, he stared at the peeling walls of his cell and replayed the trial in his mind. He didn't just blame the system, he blamed the jurors. In his eyes, they were the ones who had decided his fate. When Marcus was finally released a week before Christmas, his thoughts weren't of freedom or redemption. They were of revenge. The first thing Marcus did was hack into the court's outdated computer system. A skilled programmer before his arrest, it didn't take him long to access the files he needed. He retrieved the names and addresses of the 12 jurors who had sealed his fate a decade ago. Marcus spent days studying his targets, learning their routines, their fears, and their secrets. By Christmas week, he had everything he needed to carry out his plan. This Christmas wouldn't be merry. It would be deadly. Day 1, the first juror. The first juror, Mrs. Karen Wilkes, was a retired schoolteacher who lived alone in a small, cozy house decorated with twinkling Christmas lights. Marcus waited until she went to bed, then cut the power to her home. When Karen went to investigate, flashlight in hand, Marcus cornered her in the basement. He left her bound and gagged, surrounded by lit candles arranged in the shape of a jury box. Above her, he painted a chilling message on the wall: guilty as charged. Day 2, the family man. Next was Brian Caldwell, a father of 2 who prided himself on his perfect suburban life. Marcus followed Brian to the skating rink, where his family enjoyed a festive evening. When Brian returned to his car, he found his tires slashed. Before he could react, Marcus attacked, knocking him unconscious and leaving him tied to the rink's Zamboni. When Brian woke, he found himself sliding across the ice, narrowly missing the blades. Marcus left him there, alive but terrified, with a note pinned to his chest: "You're skating on thin ice." Day 3, the socialite. Juror number 3, Melinda Ross, was a wealthy socialite who loved to host lavish Christmas parties. Marcus crashed her event dressed as Santa Claus, blending in with the crowd. When Melinda excused herself to check on the catering staff, Marcus cornered her in the kitchen. He filled the air with the aroma of roasting chestnuts, then tied her to a chair by the fireplace. Her guests found her later, unharmed but shaken, with a single Christmas ornament in her lap inscribed with the words, "Naughty, not nice." Days 4 to 6, the hunt continues. Over the next 3 days, Marcus struck with increasing creativity and malice. He left one juror stranded in the woods, surrounded by eerie Christmas carolers. Marcus had paid to sing haunting renditions of Silent Night. Another juror awoke to find their yard filled with dozens of ominous snowmen, each one holding a sign that read, "You'll be next." For a particularly smug juror, Marcus rigged their Christmas tree to collapse, revealing a hollowed-out base filled with black coal and a bloody doll dressed as a judge. Each attack left the jurors rattled but alive, forced to relive the trial they'd long forgotten. The last juror was the foreman, a stern man named Richard Harper. Marcus saved him for last, planning his grand finale for Christmas Eve. Richard, unaware of the danger he was in, sat in his living room with his family, watching It's a Wonderful Life. Suddenly, the TV flickered, and the screen displayed Marcus's face. "Good evening, Richard," Marcus said, his voice cold. "Did you think I forgot about you?" The lights in the house went out, and Marcus appeared moments later, standing in the doorway with a knife. But Richard wasn't as defenseless as Marcus had expected. The former juror tackled him, and after a brief struggle, managed to knock the knife away. Richard's family called the police, who arrived just in time to arrest Marcus before he could escape. As Marcus was dragged away in handcuffs, he locked eyes with Richard and whispered, "This isn't over." The surviving jurors reunited on Christmas morning, shaken but relieved. They couldn't believe Marcus had gone to such lengths to terrorize them, and some even questioned whether their guilty verdict had been wrong. But for Marcus, the story wasn't over. As he sat in his prison cell that night, staring at the cold concrete walls, a twisted smile spread across his face. He had plenty of time to plan his next move, and this time, he wouldn't leave any survivors. Thanks for tuning in to Scary Scandals, Stories to Fall Asleep To. If you're still awake, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and comment your favorite story down below. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you're ready for more chilling tales, check out my other videos. Sweet dreams, if you can sleep.